Okay, we are back. I'm very happy to have Marin Katusa, who is the New York Times bestselling author of The Colder War, and he runs Katusa Research, which specializes in hedge funds in the world of energy. Marin, real pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to drill in, if I might use the pun, to some of the research you've done and experience you have in terms of Israel's connection to the world of energy. And in particular, Israel recently had a fantastic natural gas find. What's the impact of that both to Israel and the rest of the world?
I think the offshore gas fields of Israel are truly world-class deposits. I think they're a game changer for the region, and I think they're very important for the U.S. foreign interests on a Leviathan or the Tamar. The ownership, the largest owner and operator is called Nobel Energy. They're a U.S. publicly traded company. These assets are very important to Turkey, Egypt, even Syria, because these are multi TCFs. Now, in the world, anything above 10 TCFs is massive. It's world class. And I believe that when you combine all these deposits, you're going to be looking north of 25 trillion cubic feet of gas. And
I'm sorry, I just want to, you're saying the names were Neighbours. Do they have an interest an ownership interest in these, or is this from a different perspective?
No, there's no foreign ownership with the Neighbours, but they really need that natural gas from a stable, secure supply that Israel can provide. So this becomes very important. I have a whole chapter in my book about Israel. And first off, I love Israel. I've been there, taking my mother and father there. Beautiful place, innovation, top tier. And I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see a lot of U.S. interests and also Russian interests, because now the Russian interests are very potential of Israel's offshore gas deposits, because Russia's now redirecting their South Stream gas pipeline. That's $1 billion infrastructure. Now they're going to bypass Ukraine, and they're looking at going down to Turkey. Now, if Turkey can play both sides, they're trying to get a long-term offtake with Israel. So you're going to see a lot of changes in Middle East geopolitics because of this world-class gas deposit. So, globally, a lot of people pay attention to this, but in the next 10 years, I truly believe that these gas deposits will become a focal point for the Middle East geopolitical relations. People have to remember the Middle East is very oil-rich. Import, if you look even what Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, imports of natural gas within the Middle East. Only Qatar is a true heavyweight when it comes to natural gas. And Israel has the potential to become a natural gas heavyweight in the region.
And how is this going to, I want to get the bigger picture, like you were mentioning the United States and Russia, but for the regular guy on the ground here in Israel, how will we sense a change?
Well, there already has been a significant change. So the antitrust authority, David Geilo, he's actually, whether he got fired or resigned or, there's some sort of, but he definitely did not like the direction of Nobel's ownership because of the foreign ownership. He really tried to push for more state ownership in these deposits. The government, they had their own reasons, and with the pressure of the U.S. foreign policy, the U.S. saw this as a way to ease tensions between the Sunni Muslims in the region and to provide natural gas and create a link, because Egypt needs the Israeli natural gas. Turkey needs the Israeli natural gas. Obama's administration was hoping to use this as a peace offering in a way. Now, when you look at the royalty rates, I sat with the energy minister in Israel down in Tel Aviv back in 2011, and we went through all of the royalty rates. It's actually quite competitive, so it won't be getting as much as, say, Iraq had on the oil take and the natural gas take there. So Israel's government take isn't as high as other nations in the region, so it's quite competitive.
Okay, and so now explain to me, if you could, how this really on the bottom line is going to affect Russia, which is having all sorts of other issues related to the world energy price changes.
That's the big one, and I'm glad you brought that up. So Russia has 25% of the global reserves of conventional natural gas. They are a natural gas titan. They are the Apple of natural gas. I was looking to not just supply. They provide about a third of all of Europe's natural gas needs. But they really want to become a natural gas for Middle East and North Africa. And Turkey's the first play that Russia is really going to move into. So they're building a $45 billion capex pipeline project to take natural gas from Russia down to Turkey. And it is critical for the Russians, in their perspective, for Gazprom to not see Israel expand, because that becomes all mean. Turkey pays about 400 to 500% more for their same natural gas in the U.S. So the Russians can sell, per MCF, you're looking somewhere between $6 to $8 per MCF. The U.S. it sells for about $2 per MCF. So they're looking at that as a big ARB opportunity for the Russians, and that's their first step. And you'll see other regions. Syria is important, and other countries in the Middle East. So this is a key of Russia's expansion for the natural gas industry.
We're talking with Marin Katusa, who is the author of the New York Times best-selling book, The Colder War. He's been talking to us a little bit about the Israeli natural gas find and how that could affect not only Israel, but other countries around. Marin, I'd like to drill into this point, because you said that Russia has its own interest in exporting its own natural gas. Doesn't that make them sort of a natural enemy to Israel?
Depends which way you're looking at it, Doug, is that Russians can produce and transport the natural gas at a lower price than what the offshore gas deposits in Israel can be produced and transported for. So that's the first thing to understand. LNG is a very higher cost form of production. Right now, the Russians have an advantage on the price. So are they enemies? I don't really see it as enemies in the free market. I see it as more of a competitor to it. But I think Turkey will probably play both sides of the coin on supply their own interests. Now, just so you understand, the consumer of Russian natural gas today, a lot of people don't know that number two is Turkey. That's a big surprise to a lot of people. Now, that will all change when the massive pipeline from Russia to China gets built. That's the world's largest construction underway. Gas pipeline taking Russian natural gas to China. So we see that Russia's really pushing on a four-pronged approach. They want to maintain their European leverage. 1/3 of Europe consumes Russian natural gas, really making big headways with China and the rest of Asia. And now they're really trying to infiltrate Middle East and North Africa, which I call MENA. So Israel has to stay committed, because they don't want to lose out to the Russian wave of natural gas coming towards MENA.
And is this something reasonable for Israel to be able to do?
Definitely. I truly believe that these deposits are world-class, and with world-class assets, you have margin for error. And I think that eventually all these assets will be developed. As they get developed, lower cost comes in because of your infrastructure improves. And this is a good thing, because the people of Israel will get a revenue from the tax as long as this is developed and proper contracts are signed. And I believe that will be the route that it goes. So hopefully the politicians don't screw things up here. But that's history really showing politicians, have that common trait in mind, that they end up doing up a lot of things. And but one thing you can guarantee is that the politicians will tax. So I think that they'll probably increase their taxes on natural gas development and production, and hopefully that isn't wasted, and the people of Israel get that benefit from that.
And so ultimately, do you think this will somehow lead to some greater Middle Eastern peace, or is this just another cog in the wheel that someone's going to make claims on, or other people are going to tax and attack?
I would love to think that, we will see a long-term standing peace, but there's just too many people that don't want to see the infrastructure, especially the extremists. They do not want any Muslims getting along with Israel. And I think that time will tell, and I think it's a good start, because the reality here is that Syria, Turkey, they need the Israeli natural gas. That's the harsh reality of the situation. So hopefully the right outcome happens.
Right, and so we will certainly hope from some sort of economic cooperation will come other cooperations in other areas as well. Marin, we're just about out of time, but in the last few seconds, tell us, how can people follow you and follow your work?
If you want to see all of my research, it's for free at Katusa Research. That's KATUSA research.com, and I provide thoughts, analysis, and opinions on the web.
All right, and we will put links to that at the show notes of today's show at goldsteinongelt.com. Marin Katusa, thanks so much for your time.
It was my pleasure, Doug.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world. If you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt Show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt Show.